Alright, so now I've got this thing in the backyard. Maybe I could move it in front, but I just wanted to do it in the backyard. I'll just bring some of my tools over here. First thing I want to do is unmount this, where this whole thing mounts up. It's where the transmission mounts go through. And then I'm going to go ahead and unbolt it from the differential. And I do have this handy DVD. Powerglide rebuild, so that's gonna come with a lot of help, as well as Dave Moto had posted a Powerglide rebuild video that I haven't finished watching. I also have not finished watching this one, but I will, and I'm gonna take this very slow and keep it very organized. Alright, so I have separated the two now. This is the pallet that we had made for the engine to sit on while we had it back here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and slide this back on here. I've only taken this top bracket off, or that bracket that was right there, and then the 4 bolts that mount it to the differential. But yeah, I'll go ahead and start taking these little bolts off, and then I believe I'm gonna need a harmonic bouncer or a puller here to get this this cover plate off. But I did make sure not to have any of the weight hang on here, because the video did say that this will bend really easily. Looks pretty straight. Okay, I rented a slide hammer. See, maybe I can do this with one hand, or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's not a good idea to do with one hand. No, there it goes. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna use both hands now. Right, I've taken everything out, so now it's just the housing. Got all my parts laid out. The valve body stuff I had already taken out previously, so that was already in the car. This stuff is just freshly taken out. I did notice a couple things that are probably gonna need replacement, like that little washer right there. I think there's a tiny little washer that goes into the front pump cover that I saw in a video I just watched that is not there on mine, so I have to get that replaced. And then these little, this gear looks a bit worn out, which is funny because in the Dave Motohead video I was just watching, he basically the same exact thing that he was describing on there, where these what they call dog pins right here, so that sits in there. Oh, that kind of goes on there rough, but you can see, okay, that side, yeah, right there, they're being worn. So I'm gonna either need to find a replacement gear or just figure out what to do. But yeah, so there are a couple things that are gonna need to be ordered before I can start assembling this transmission again. Anyways, this is the continuation off from where I left last time. So a little while ago, earlier today, I took the case to a transmission shop. They put it in one of their cleaning machines, so hot solvents got sprayed all over it for like 30 minutes or so, maybe 40 minutes of cleaning. Yeah, and charged me like $30, but now I'm going to go ahead and start clean the hardware afterwards, all those bolts and everything. But I want to start cleaning all of my valve body insides. I already cleaned the majority of it at work, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean it again and get everything more organized than this. Excuse the noise, but a lot of what I'm finding inside of this transmission, especially in the valve body the first time, well, the only time I took it apart, just I cleaned it a bit earlier, but a lot of this Black City stuff, that was awesome at the bottom of my pan, and that's the stuff I cleaned up. Pretty sure that's clutch material, but from what I can tell from whenever I was looking at the little thing where all the clutches are in, it still looks like they have a good amount of life to them, but I won't be sure till I take it apart. But yeah, a lot of this nasty stuff in here. Okay, so where we are at right now, I've got all this stuff cleaned up. I'll do another final cleaning afterwards, but it's just because it's been sitting out here, but I've replaced this bushing in here. This goes in there smoothly. This clutch drum, I've got to go take it somewhere to because there's an inner seal in there that I need to press to get the snap ring out. So I'm gonna need a press to replace these inner seals in here. So I need to go to a shop and get that, because now that I don't work at that shop, I can't use theirs. But anyways, I have my valve body all assembled and ready to go in. So right now I'm just gonna find something that I can use for, I'm gonna go ahead and call one of the places to see if I can use their press assembly with the clutches and metals removed. So I'm going to need to find something that's gonna go on this outer edge, and somewhere we can push down from the middle, and it's gonna spread the pressure out here and go down, so I can get a snap ring that's in there out, and then we can get this assembly out of here, and we'll replace 2 seals that are in here. And I have already I put a new bushing in here. The video did say to chamfer this edge right here just to make assembly a bit easier, so I will also be doing that. Thank you, sir. Okay, so here we are with the new seals in there. Those are the old seals. They weren't honestly that bad, but I mean, whatever. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I have new metals and frictions that I'm gonna throw in here. I gotta make sure to put that right there. Show this low band. It does have a couple rough spots in it. Right there at the ends. And then right there's really bad. It's burnt and it's gone through the metal. And just generally looks pretty rough. So I've already ordered a replacement one from Clark's, and I'm going to send this one in as a core. And yeah, I did not want to reuse this, and this part should be coming in a couple days. I also wanted to show, so here's the gasket that was on here that bolts from transmission to the differential. There was a lot of, you can see how it's like rusty, muddy stuff, and you can see all around the gasket we have a bit of surface rust that kind of stuck to it. I did notice that a lot on some of these components. I did find a little bit of rusty stuff. So, and it just some of the fluid in the valve body looked really black and really just dirty fluid. Used lots of lubrication on all these parts when you're reassembling them. So I'm putting some of the forbidden ketchup on here. But I have noticed that this is the rear pump. This seal honestly feels like a rock. Like this one does not feel very pliable at all. But for some reason in the kit, the only one I have that's this size has this sort of a lip on it. And you can see this one's more just squarish. So that is confusing me a bit. I'll go ahead and look over that rebuild video, the DVD that I have, to see that. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this piece up. I went around the bushing with a little bit of Scotch-Brite just to make sure it doesn't have any. That's a little concerning right there. That mark. That one, 2. I do have a replacement bushing if I feel like changing it out. Okay. Good news. This seal is garbage, because I was starting to feel a little down about taking this whole thing apart, because the friction materials all looked good. Most of the seals, I have some of the old ones in there, and they were okay. They were pretty pliable, but I was hoping to find some really bad stuff so I could justify taking this thing apart. And you can see this. Focus. There we go. You can see this seal is very, very hard. Yeah, it's starting to crack. So that's good. I found a bad seal that we will replace. But that is the one that the only other one in the kit has the lip on it. So, kind of confuses me. Like I said, I'll look at the video right now because I think it is supposed to have the lip on there. I don't think it got disintegrated. No, I don't know. Not sure if I've already shown this, but I have been finding also a good amount of this type of sludge in the transmission. This is on the rear pump. There was also a good amount inside of the valve body. But yeah, that stuff is pretty nasty. Right, I've replaced the bushing that was in here. Pretty easy. This one was probably the easiest out of all the ones that I've done. The reason I replaced this one, I don't know why I went wide view. There we go. You can see that I had that little divot right there, and then a little score right there, and then whoops, a little bit right there too. That was a pretty nasty one. And like I said, this one was the easiest one to replace out of all of them. I just started got under it with this my little baby flathead at the I'll show you where I got under it, where these bushings are right there at that little line, and I just tapped it out with this. And how I got this one in, drove it in with the wood until the wood it goes down a little bit below. Here you can see right there, it'll go down a little bit lower than the wood can get. So I just used the old bushing and I just kind of tapped it further down to where it was in about the same spot as the other one. But I'm not sure if I've shown the case yet. After cleaning, I've already this is loosely together right here, this linkage stuff. I've got that little thing in there, I don't know what that's called. I got this piston in, the low band piston, or low servo, whatever it's called. I'm gonna air this out real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and take it inside of the house, and I want to start assembling the valve, or I'm gonna put the valve body on there, and then I'm gonna start putting some components in here. My low band and a couple of the other components that were worn out that I'm replacing are coming in tomorrow, so I'm just gonna get as much as I can together right now, and then tomorrow I should be ready to just put everything together and have this thing complete.
Here you have to line up the valve body with these two steel pins, here and here, and the throttle valve.
Now on this component here is where you can see I was talking about how on some of them, or how I've noticed that this transmission has a bit of rust in it. So I'm thinking maybe water got in the fluid at once upon a time. But I have gone ahead and on this transfer plate, I believe it's called, I have sanded it down on both sides, and this is as best as I can get it. There's no rust protruding. These are all like little indentions in the metal, but it's nothing too bad. It's just kind of, you know, stained it. I don't worry that it's not going to seal right, but that is just something I wanted to show. All right, so I've got the valve body on. Now with clean tools, they enforce that in the video. I'm gonna go ahead and install all my clean hardware. Well, okay, I'll admit they are a little dirty. I'll clean them again, all these bolts, and then I'll put transmission fluid on them, and then we'll go ahead and fasten the valve body. All right, I've got the valve body all torqued down now. It said 10 foot-pounds starting from the innermost bolts spreading out, and I've gone ahead and marked all of them with a paint marker to make sure I didn't miss any of them. I want to wipe that off though, because I don't know, I just don't want that on my fluid. So yeah, I'll go ahead and put the screen on, and then I can go ahead and just put the pan back on to protect all of this down here, and then we can start filling in all this empty void in here. This is also a new screen I put in here. Mine was pretty bent up, so I just went ahead and ordered a used one, a good used one, and then also the little flathead that holds it in place right there. So as you can see in the video, this man's got guide pins on there for the rear pump. I went ahead and ran down to the Home Depot, bought a size that will fit, and then I just cut the heads off. And I filed it down. I made sure there's no metal shavings on these, so these are clean. And so that's what I want to use for guide pins. But now I'm going to go ahead and get this part in here, and if you're doing this like me and you're using these ones with the threads on them, be careful, because it can knock out some of the metal on the outside and it'll fall down in here. I had a couple pieces like that. Use lubrication everywhere. Lube up everything. Get your hands all covered in transmission fluid. Lube up everything. Got it? Okay, don't know. It's not smoky in here, I swear. It's just the camera. All right, so those little guide pins that I made, they were a little too long and it wasn't letting it go in. So I just shortened them like half an inch and it slid right in. So now what I've got to do is seat the lip seal around with the feeler gauge. 10 thousandths is what they said. So I've got 10 thousandths. And we're just gonna go around the lip seal until this thing seats fully. And I'm gonna get pretty close to assembling this honestly today, but I've still got to wait for the little triangular piece that goes on the shaft that goes all the way through here that had some wear on it, as well as my low band that's coming in tomorrow. But I mean, honestly, this didn't take as long as I thought it would. My gear fell out, so I gotta take this back out. Retry. Forgot to mention, this is that gear. Actually, I don't know if I took a little video of it, but I think I did. This is that gear that had the damage on it where it was gouged from those dog pins digging into it. What I ended up doing was filing it, and then I'm gonna flip it around so those pins get a nice new side that it'll go on. This was the side that was facing out before, and you can see where those where the metal was getting pushed out from those guide pins or from the dog pins. It was scoring all around here. But I have made sure this surface is smooth now, and I'm just gonna flip it around and put it like that so those dog pins have a fresh surface to go onto there. All right, so my rear pump has fully seated. My gears do still move around. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put in the bolts. You see I labeled everything. That's the only way to do this, guys. Gotta buy one of these DVDs that I'm watching, and then just follow it. Make sure everything's clean and organized. Oh, this thing's already starting to get pretty heavy. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run in all these little bolts and get them torqued. Successfully gotten it all torqued while this still spins, so that's great. So during this part, there was someone in the house and they were talking, so I didn't. That's why there's no audio, because you would just hear them talking. But you can see I got those friction things in, and then I got that piece in, and it spins a little bit, but it doesn't spin all the way because it's like designed like that because the planetary gears. Then that's my new low band, covered in transmission fluid. It's nice. And then that front pump is in. Made sure everything lined up in the middle because there's a little washer that needed to stick with Vaseline, something like that. But yeah. And that's the front pump cover on, and then that's the new little triangular gear piece that I ordered from Clark's. And then just put that front pump cover plate on with a mallet. And,
hello everyone, I got the whole transmission together, but at the end of the video of what I'm watching, the guy goes, I did fail to mention that on the rear pump there is an additional seal.
This would be the easiest time if I just take it apart now, rather than just running it like that. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to take it apart. Again.
U.S. diplomats saying there may be a way to get military material in, but warning that may become more.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of that terribly made video. It could have been made so much better, but so this is already like 4 months ago, I think. So like at that time I like was between two phones, so like some of it got recorded on another phone, and then like I had to return that phone, so I lost that footage, and then just complications, and yeah, and then I just kind of spent most of my time cleaning, and like I could have recorded some of the cleaning and just like, you know, done some cool cinematography things like, whoa, look at this, but no, I didn't do any of that, so it came out like half-ass, which it could have been a cool video, like, oh, transmission rebuild, that's like, you know, big video, but like most half-assed video I've done, so apologize for that. Some of that I think some other things. So past all the half-assed stuff, one problem I've always had with the transmission is it wouldn't upshift, or it would it would upshift too fast is what it would do. And the reason for that is because I found that the E-clip inside on one of the valves was missing, so I replaced that. And that black sludge stuff, that might have been from like neglect in the past, or the seal with the lip seal on it, it lost the lip seal part of it, so maybe that got disintegrated and that was in the fluid, and that's what the black sludgy stuff was. Just an idea, maybe. That's where this video is gonna end. Spoiler, it worked. The transmission, it's good now. I put over 200 miles on it. I've just doing some other stuff on the car right now because, you know, you're always doing stuff on these things. But soon, hopefully it isn't another like 4 months goes by where I don't upload a video. But hopefully soon I'll get to making the other video, and in that I'll like have a clip of whenever I put the car in gear and it works. That was a pretty cool moment. A lot of that was just really satisfying. And a funny thing, the transmission place I took it. Oh, those guys were cool. Those guys were cool. I told them I was building it from or rebuilding a Powerglide transmission. They're like, oh, that's cool, Powerglide transmission, Corvair. And whenever I had to take the transmission back apart to replace that seal, I went over there and I told them, I was like, yeah, I had the transmission all together, and then I had to take it apart because I found out I forgot to replace the seal, and then they all laughed at me. But yeah, and then later whenever I had the transmission back in the car, I drove it over there, and they're like, oh wow, like you got that done pretty fast. I was like, thanks. Yeah, okay, well, thank you for watching this video and all the support I've gotten from people telling me when am I gonna upload another video, and that they actually appreciate my videos, and that they want to know how the transmission rebuild is going. Thanks. Thank you. Anyways, if you enjoyed this very disorganized, not well-made video, give me a thumbs up maybe. Leave a comment down below saying I took too damn long to make the video and I should have just gave up completely, never put my face back on YouTube. It's okay. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.